All right. Hopefully they can hear me through my mic. I like how holding this. This is great. Good morning. Thank you for the great introduction. Yes, I am Vicki McDonald with KPM CPAs. We're probably in about 10 minutes away. I wouldn't say 20 unless you hit every single light, which typically happens to me. But today I actually made it no problem. It was just the elevator that got me stuck. So we'll just use the elevator excuse anytime. It probably works. So KPM, we are a mid-sized locally owned firm. We have about 100 employees. We run about 9 to 10 interns every year. We do tax, we do audits, we do governmental audits, we do wealth advising, we do accounting outsourcing or CAS. Some people are familiar with that terminology. So that businesses that can't have the infrastructure for an accounting department can hire us, and we can go and do all the accounting work for whatever their needs are, whether it be payroll, bookkeeping work, tax prep, all that stuff. So lots of great opportunities for KPM. A lot of our clients are really drawn from Southwest Missouri, but we do have clients all over the state of Missouri, and then even some clients that have multi-state properties and businesses and stuff like that. So we'll see anywhere from a mom and pop all the way to a large corporation. We've been around since the 60s, so we're well known. We have 16 shareholders, so there's a lot of opportunities for growth at KPM. We are not a big corporation. We have that small feel. So everybody kind of knows everybody, at least knows of them. A lot of cross training too. So some of our tax people will help out with AOC and vice versa. Some of our wealth advising will use our tax people. So it just kind of all goes across. And we have certain clients that do both audit and tax and maybe even accounting outsourcing. So we do have a lot of opportunities for growth here down in Southwest Missouri. So we look for people who are wanting to learn and grow within their field. We understand that you're not going to know what you don't know. So it is okay when you come in completely clean slate if you're looking for an internship. And hopefully you either have an internship or working on getting an internship well before your senior year. So we take juniors and seniors and then people going into their masters. And ideally, we're looking for interns that will turn into a full-time job. So if you are wanting to stay in Springfield and wanting to work for a great company, KPM is really where it's at. So, but yeah, let's talk about the main reason I'm here. And it is the importance of written communication. How many of you love to write? Okay, some of you did. Okay, good. How many of you just can't stand when like a phone rings and somebody's calling you? Yeah, not like that. So your instant reaction is, I want to text you instead, and I want to, maybe write this out. And so, Sheena, want to come in? Oh, so mean. I love it. That's the rule. Okay. Sorry about that. So why is written communication so important? It's because what you do now is going to affect you what you do later. And how you talk to people now is going to have that kind of stigma later on. So learning and practicing now is the best thing for you as you look into your future. So the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. So Mark Twain knew it back in the day. He realized that if you say the wrong thing or have something written, it actually is permanent. So if you write something and you intend to say something, but then it comes across as something else, then you have a breakdown in communication. And so as you are growing and developing your network and learning how to maybe apply for jobs, maybe interviewing, how you communicate back and forth is really just very, very important. So we all talk to our peers, we talk to our friends, we talk to our parents, siblings, whoever, and we talk to them differently. So if I have a friend that I'm talking about, hey, I just saw this happen in the elevator, I wouldn't say that to my boss. Like I wouldn't talk to my boss the same way. Or if I'm looking for a job and I'm talking with a recruiter, I'm probably not going to have those same conversations with them as I would with maybe my professor or somebody else. So you've got to know what level it is to be appropriate to talk to people. So communication is so important because nothing can reveal your communication weaknesses more clearly than poorly written letters, reports, emails, and even your social media. So as you are posting things, now a lot of people post, I'm going out or doing things, maybe, a group selfie, all that stuff. That's okay. But if you're on LinkedIn and you're using that for your platform to network with recruiters and business owners and employers, you probably don't want to be putting those type of posts on your social media. You want to probably be focused on what you're looking for and what your desires are. But if something is poorly written on, let's say, your LinkedIn account, us as recruiters are going to notice that, and we're probably not going to be excited to talk to you. So that is the challenge that we face, because what is good and what's not good. It's kind of finding that fine line. And again, what you talk to your friends are going to be totally different than how you talk to employers and whatnot. Most hiring managers won't hire somebody if they can't communicate in writing, because sometimes all we know is what you're doing in writing. We haven't even talked to you face to face. So I get hit up by students or people who are in the field who are like, hey, love to connect with you. If there's any opportunities at KPM, let me know. Because a little bit of thing about KPM is we don't always hire. We have people that stay with us. So that says a lot about our culture, but also we're always looking for interns every year. And we're going to kind of talk about that here shortly. But if you can't communicate with me, if you reach out to me and it's full of, negativity, or if it's full of grammar errors and all that stuff, grammatical errors, spelling errors, that's going to be a red flag to me that I'm probably not going to be super interested in you. Now, if you don't punctuate, or if you don't, maybe use your caps properly or whatever, I may not think twice about it, because sometimes on our phones, it's kind of hard to do everything. But if you are really serious, you should really think about things before you hit send. The why written communication is so important. Mr. Gooden just said it himself. He said, you kind of think of this as a dying thing, but it's still very real in the real world. So technology, we have a phone, right? We pull out our phone, we get a text message. We're in that instant gratification era, right? If you don't answer that text, you're probably thinking, okay, I need to answer this text. They're going to be mad at me if I don't. Well, email, even LinkedIn messages don't need an instant response. I would rather somebody think about things, write it out perfectly, and then send it, versus just instantly knee-jerking responding back when it comes to that stuff. So for instance, if I'm sending something to my big boss and it's not going to be something simple, it's going to be something that's well thought out of, making sure that everything looks good and appropriate, and actually answering maybe his question that he might have. So the difference between a written communication and a phone call is you actually have the time to think about it. And so because you have that time, it's okay to make sure it looks perfect. Because unlike a phone call, let's say I call you and say, hey, let's set up an interview. I got you right on the spot, and it's up to you to take it from there. So it just really is important to really see the big picture before you send it, because the last thing is it's permanent. So if you email me and it's very not professional written, I'm going to remember that. I'm also going to remember if you don't respond back to me. That's something else very important too. So we'll talk about that here momentarily. But it is permanent. So what you put on your social media, someone can see 5-10 years from now. Even if it looks like it appeared to go away, it's still there. We can find those things. And yes, us recruiters do use social media to find out kind of a little bit about you. Sometimes even before we make that phone call to see if we want to communicate with you. So how do we view that in written communication style? Well, it starts way before you're hired. So if you're filling out a job application, make sure you fill everything out. A lot of times these applications are going through like an AI generator. Places like KPM, we don't use an AI generator. So everything that you send through to us, application, resume, LinkedIn, always goes to an actual human. So usually 9 times out of 10, it'll come straight to me. But that job applications out there are going to be fed through AI. So you really need to be careful about filling out everything appropriately, actually punctuating your words that you need to do, making sure that everything looks good. You have the ability to view things before you submit. So just take a moment to make sure everything looks good. Your resume. Do you know how often I see errors on a resume? Way more than I'd like to tell you. It's amazing, because I know you've had a lot of eyes looking on your resume. And when you get those eyes to give you feedback. Take that feedback. I actually have people that say, oh yeah, they told me to change that, but I didn't because I just didn't think it was that important. And yes, it is. Let people look at your resume, let people give you constructive criticism on it, and then take it from there and change it. You may actually have 5 or 6 people look at it and they may all have something different. So go with what looks the best for you, but make sure you follow the consistency on a resume. So if you have a period at the end of a couple sentences, make sure the period is all under the same, after each sentence. If you have bullet points, use the bullet points consistently. But if you do numbers, use numbers consistently. So little things like that maybe your brain just doesn't actually see it all when you're doing it. Just take that constructive criticism, very important. Kind of back to social media. How many of you have a LinkedIn account? Great. Awesome. Keep that LinkedIn account active. And what it takes for that to really work in your favor is to maybe post from time to time, but be active with your connections. And it's okay to make connections. LinkedIn is not used for your social kind of life. I wouldn't put things on like, hey, I'm going out with this person or going out of town or anything like that. I would be like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm looking for. And this is what I need right now. Update your resume and upload it on your LinkedIn. If you do strengths quest, update your strengths and put those on there. Tell us when you're graduating, what your GPA is, or what you're involved in. Use it as a live resume. And so that way, recruiters, that's my first kind of attack. I will go onto LinkedIn. I love connecting with students. So I will never turn down a no connection with a student. Even if it's somebody that's not maybe in an accounting world. So connect with me. And the more connections you can get with people, the likelihood of your networking group to go bigger. But you got to be careful. You can't just put everything and anything on LinkedIn. Make sure it's polished and perfect before you start connecting with people. And then once you are connected with people, then you start liking and maybe making posts about, hey, I did this with, we did a, BAP night and we had KPM come in and connected with Vicki McDonald and then so-and-so and so-and-so. And then suddenly that algorithm is starting to read more and more and more. And next thing you know it, your networking is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's tricky, but it's not hard. You just got to know how to play the game. And then emails. So emails, how many of you like emails? Okay. Yeah, we've kind of lost the email. We used to email crazy. And now I asked this question yesterday to our class. How many emails a day do you think an average business person gets? Like someone in the real world. Does anyone want to take a stab at that? Okay, let's go higher. 200? Yeah, about 200 to 300 a day. And most of that could probably be junk mail. So actionable emails are probably around 50 to 100. And that's just an average business person. That's not talking about your professors. That's not talking about maybe someone who's doing client work and there's a lot of action that needs to go back and forth. So just an average person is getting a ton of emails. So when an email hits, does it always get responded to? No. But you should expect a good response, maybe between 2 to 3 business days, if at all possible. I don't like numbers on my phone or on my email. So if I'm on my computer and I have emails, like I'll go back to the office and I will try my best to clear them out because I just don't like numbers. But not everybody can do that. Like a lot of people actually have jobs, that they have to get to. Fortunately, my job is talking to people. But yes, if I know like my husband, he runs a solar company and he is getting all kinds of emails that he just can't get to all day long in the hours of 8 to 5. So sometimes emails becoming late at night, sometimes emails come early in the morning. But the good thing about email is you don't have to have an instant response, but you should respond. So if somebody emails you, whether it be a recruiter, an employer, somebody you're getting ready to interview, be responsive to them too. Even if it's not an actionable email, just respond to me like, thank you so much, or I'm looking forward to it. Those type of things, because if we send an email, it's going to think that it went out to no man's land, or you're one of the few that gets the thousands of emails a day and you're not checking. But if you're applying for jobs and you add an email to your resume, make sure you check that email. because a lot of times I don't call because nobody answers their phone anymore. So I actually will email you to set up a time to meet or a time for a phone call or whatnot so that you're prepared for that. But if I don't get a response back, it's telling me that you're not checking your email. And then it makes me question, well, what else are you not paying attention to? So it automatically is a red flag. So when you do email, though, I'm going to show you how to properly write an email here's in just a moment. So writing for school is definitely different than writing for business. So you do have to email your professors. You do have to do writing assignments. You do have to do those things. But when you write for school, there's actually a rubric that you have to follow. So ideally, your professor is going to tell you, hey, this is what I'm looking for, X, Y, and Z. And if you fall into this category, you're going to get A, B, or C grade, right? If you are writing for business, though, nobody is really grading you, but they are kind of kind of judging you, I guess just to say. I hate to use that word, but you get feedback from your professors. So if you write them an email and it's poorly written, they're going to tell you, hey, this is probably not how you want to talk to people. But if your boss isn't going to probably tell you that, your audience is not actually grading you. So you don't want to give too much information when an email or a written assignment or anything like that. You want to just keep it straight to the point and tell us really what people are looking for. Because when people have hundreds of emails to read a day, they're not going to want to read a long drawn out email that could have maybe been something different. So effective writing is carefully planned, researched, and presented. So if you feel like, oh, I'm working so hard on this email, that's okay, because it does get natural. Like as you do it more and more and more, it doesn't give you so much of a thought process. But in the beginning, it's really important to take that time to make sure that what you've got is going out in an appropriate way. So you need to know your who, your why, your what, and your how. So your who is your audience, who are you actually sending this to, and who could have ramifications if you send it to the wrong person, right? So you don't want to send an email bashing Mr. Gooden here to Dr. Church and then include Mr. Gooding on here. And then suddenly you have to face Mr. Gooden and be like, oh, actually, I did write that. Like, know who you're actually writing the email to. Okay. And again, because it is permanent and it can actually be used against you. So be highly careful with what you do with those words. Your why. Why are you emailing? What is the course of action? What is it that you are needing out of this email? Whether it be a response to a question that you got, or it's a reach out to somebody like me. Maybe you're interested in having an opportunity to interview for a job at KPM. Your what is what it is, right? Why are you doing this? To what are you going to bring to the table? And the how. If you're coming up with an idea, how do you want to approach this? How do you want to obtain the information? So understanding that body will give you a little bit more grasp of how to move forward. So let's talk about how to write a professional email. Okay, so pay attention to the addressee. When you are writing an email, Microsoft Office a lot of times will pull an email, already that maybe I've emailed somebody over and over and over. Well, what if I'm emailing Bob? I may have 10 Bobs in my email contact list. Make sure it's to the right Bob, because I've done that before. I've actually sent to the wrong one. Well, you have several Joshes that work for us. It's a very popular name, I guess, at KPM. And I had sent an email to what should have gone to an intern, actually went to a shareholder. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it, but he was like, you got the wrong one, and so just don't do that. It just takes less time. And then ideally your addressee isn't going to get it if they don't know each other. So just make sure and it's happened to me before too. There's things I've gotten about a client. I'm like, I'm not your client. I'm, I work here, and it's just, I don't think this is for me. So it happens, but just be very mindful of who you're sending it to. Include a subject line. So this one, I don't know if people, really don't do this anymore, because when you push send, a lot of times Microsoft Office especially will just say, do you want to send without a subject line? No, we don't. Always have a subject line, because of all those emails that we're getting. You need to have something to kind of guide me in what I'm looking for. So if I have a subject line, it could be like, oh, Sarah emailed me about meeting for coffee. Okay, got it. And then I go into the email and I'm like, yes, yes. And then now I can put it over into my calendar and we're good. If it doesn't have a subject line and it's just Sarah, I'm going to think maybe it actually might be a bot. Maybe it's somebody who I'm not going to give this link to get $1 million from somebody out of a different country that's locked up in jail. So I just want to make sure like the subject line matches what the subject is. So you can be a little catchy about it, but just kind of be straight to the point. It really only needs to be 2 to 6 words, and a call to action usually is pretty helpful. Sometimes it could just be like, hi, it's me. Okay. So after the subject line and you have the address in there, be personable. So being personable, you can say, hi, good morning, good afternoon. Hello, how are you today? Hope you're doing well. Hope you survived the snow, whatever. But you can be very personable. If there are multiple addresses, you can start with the greetings, hi team, or hi all, good morning or good afternoon, just to kind of be, you don't have to be like, hi Sarah, hi Bob, hi Kyle, hi Josh, hi so-and-so. You can just be like, hello everyone. Also to be mindful of blind copies. Okay. So if you're emailing somebody and it could potentially be affecting somebody else, be wary that they could actually be blind copied on that email. So don't bash anyone ever on email. Okay. Again, because it can always be used against you. So, but yeah, so greeting is very personable, and it's just kind of joyful to get versus somebody telling me what to do. Because I don't like to be told what to do. But if someone's like, hey, good morning, would you mind checking this report that I sent you a couple days ago? I really need to get it over to the client, versus look at this client's information now. Like, it just goes a long way to be kind. So then you go into the body. So after you've greeted them, you want to keep it concise. Try only to tackle one subject per email. Okay. So if your subject line is, hey, let's look at this report, you don't want to go in the body going, okay, look at the report and let's talk about this X, Y, and Z, and let's go into that. That's a separate email. So keep it pretty much what the subject line is about in your body. Use bullets if you have to. Again, a lot of people are reading emails on their phones. So when it's condensed like that, emails, it may only be a couple sentences long, but it could really look like paragraphs long when you're looking at it on a phone. So use bullet points, break it up a little bit, use some spacing too. It's okay to use spacing. Sometimes you get so condensed and you're like, I can't even read all this. Use paragraphs too. That's okay. Just don't make it a novel. Nobody wants to read an email for as long as days go on. Then you want to close it up. So you can always say, thank you so much. I look forward to hearing back from you. You can say regards, sincerely, respectfully, thank you, whatever, but just as long as it's something that's a little bit kind and kind of finishes off that email. If you leave it hanging, they're going to think that you just kind of like moved on to something else. So it doesn't sound as general and like it's too generic if you don't have something like that. So again, keep that personable the whole way down. Then you want to add your signature. So after you say thank you, you would sign your name, and make sure you sign your full name, because emails don't always tell us who the person actually is. Sometimes it may be just a number that's assigned to you that we have no idea who it is. Sometimes it may just be Sarah. Well, I have 1,000 Sarahs. Which Sarah are we talking to? So make a signature. You can easily make these and attach it to your email at any time. Your signature should look just like a business card. You can have your name fonts a little bit bigger, and then kind of who you are. Maybe you're a student at Missouri State, accounting student at Missouri State, even better. Graduation date. You could have your phone number. You could also have your LinkedIn, your anything else that you want to maybe tag or kind of get people to know. Add that. It is easy to make signatures, and you can have it automatically send every time you send an email, which is pretty cool. You don't have to think about it. If you don't want to do that, maybe you're emailing other people that don't need that signature. Maybe you're emailing friends, whatever. Then you can have it for certain people, or you can just add it each time. But it makes the email look polished and professional. So have you ever gotten an email that didn't have a signature versus one that did have a signature? It looks a lot different. So kind of keep that in mind if you can. Again, not super necessary, but the most important piece to take out of that is put your full name as your signature, if anything, so that we know who you are. Okay, so Microsoft Teams is another avenue to talk to people, and this is once you're in the business world. You may utilize Teams in your college career, but really comes really full force in the business world. So Microsoft Teams is kind of can be used for phone calls. It can be used for messaging. It can be used for, kind of Zoom-like opportunities, but it is integrated with Outlook and email. So we have an internal system that we use so I can Teams coworkers all day long. And that doesn't have to be as professional sounding as an email would. I don't have to have a signature. It's tied to my name with a picture. And again, everyone knows everybody, but you may be in a company that you don't know everybody. So they may not know who you are if you just message them. But if you are using Teams, you need to be extremely careful, about your presentation on Teams. So it's very easy to be a gossip queen on Teams. You could be like, I got a little buddy group chat going, and I could be like, so-and-so just made tuna in the bistro. It smells disgusting. Well, that stuff's permanent too. So you don't want anything that HR can come back and say, hey, were you having this conversation about so-and-so about the break room, So you want to be able to make sure that what you do is professional along there too. Can it be a little bit more casual? Absolutely. But it's still an important piece of that written communication. Microsoft Teams also feels kind of like you need to respond immediately. So you can still think about things before you respond. Just be really careful about that. Okay, so just to kind of overview of what I said, it's not the most glamorous little video, but the importance of written communications is you can Google all day long. You'll see tons and tons and tons of things about this. So really take this seriously. And now's the time you can practice without any major repercussions. But as you are growing your network and building up your potential future with a company, now's the time that you really want to be ahead of that, especially as you are getting more and more experience in your college belt. You are getting close to graduating. It's super important for this. So let's kind of see what this video has to say. Let's try this.
What is the importance of written communication? Have you ever wondered why written communication skills are so effective? Let's break down their significance, especially when it comes to job search success and project. First off, clarity and precision are key. Written communication allows you to convey your ideas with clear and straightforward. This is vital in professional settings where misunderstandings can cost you air. When you write something down, you create a permanent record that everyone can refer back to. This helps ensure that all parties are informed and another important aspect is accountability and legal success. When you document your communication, you establish a paper trail. This can be crucial in professional settings, as it provides evidence of agreement. If any disputes arise, having written records can protect you and your organization. Efficiency is also a major benefit of written communication. Unlike verbal conversations that may be forgotten, written messages can be reviewed multiple times. This reduces the need for repeated explanation and helps ensure that important information is clear. Now, let's talk about professionalism and credibility. Strong written communication skills reflected your attention to detail and professionalism. When you communicate effectively in writing, you build trust with colleagues, clients, and stakeholders. This can significantly enhance your reputation in workplace. In team environments, written communication plays a crucial role in collaboration and teamwork. Tools like meeting minutes and project updates ensure that everyone is informed of the work. This facilitates productive collaboration, allowing teams to work more effectively towards their goals. Writing down information also helps reinforce memory and study. This is especially important for complex problems that require detailed knowledge. When you document your thoughts, you not only clarify your own understanding, but also help others grasp the concept more easily. In the context of project management, highlighting written communication skills is essential. These skills ensure that project planning, updates, and feedback are communicated clearly to all stakeholders. This clarity is vital for effective project coordination. When it comes to job placement, showcasing strong written communication skills can make you a more attractive candidate. Employers value individuals who can articulate their ideas clearly and effectively in the environment. In summary, written communication skills are fundamental in the workplace. They promote clarity, accountability, efficiency, professionalism, and collaboration. Whether you are managing a project or searching for a job, these skills are essential for success. You're perfect amazed down there.
Okay, so get my hefty little, it feels so professional. Very exciting, I know. But it's so important to understand the written communication side. Again, because I see students write me, I see business peers writing me, I see just everything. And they're not all created equal. So being ahead of it will give you a huge leg up to everybody else that doesn't have that kind of embedded in them. So what kind of questions do you guys have? This is an opportunity to talk about interviewing, networking, LinkedIn, anything, you name it, I can answer it. Yeah. I mean, no, we look at everything.
So how does it like they affect you? If you have like
I mean, we get life stuff happens, but if you are doing things illegally, if you are being, if you're underage and you're showing yourself chugging a beer, it's just not a good look. We get it all happens, but it's just be mindful of that. I always look at it. What would my grandma want to see? Because grandma's going to figure out something. But yeah, I just be careful. Some people are pretty boring. And it doesn't mean, we don't look through everything like with a fine tooth comb, but a really important piece is like your profile picture on all of it. Have a picture on everything. And if it's LinkedIn, have a more professional headshot. If it's your Instagram or Facebook, we don't look at Snapchat, but if any of that, just make sure you kind of have a decent photo of you and just not something you wouldn't want mom and dad seeing.
The way I kind of try to explain it to you guys is this. One thing they're looking for is that you understand that once you get hired by them, you represent them. Okay. So imagine this. If I were to go out Friday night and drink and then get in my car and drive and I hit somebody, a pedestrian, what do you think the headline is? Do you think it is man drinks, drives, and hits pedestrian? No. The headline is Missouri State professor kills pedestrian while drunk. Okay. So that's the kind of thing they're looking for. Like, you're going to represent them. You represent your employer. So they don't want to see you, doing crazy stuff. Like Vicki said, everybody has a personal life, right? If you went and looked at my social medias from before you guys were born or around the time you guys were born, there's some wild stuff on there. I was in my late teens, early 20s. I was doing stuff. So they get it, right? It's not like you're not going to get hired if you're drinking a beer at a bar and somebody takes a picture of you, right? Just be careful, be cautious of what you're posting. So
I think a great example of what we were talking about is we had a position that was open, and it actually wasn't for KPM. My boss actually does executive recruiting for other clients that she has. And so she was having me vet through some of these applicants for a controller position for a company not in this area. And so I was looking through some of them, and then she spotted a picture on, I think it was her Facebook page, which tells you the age of this person. So well over the age of partying and doing, things like that on a weekend. So this girl was licking the side of a face of another girl, and that was her profile picture. Probably in her 30s, maybe early 40s. It just was not appropriate. And let me tell you, do you think we interviewed her? Nope. That's all it took. It was like, nope, absolutely not. Because I love what he said. Yes, you are representing. We want somebody who's going to represent us. And so I don't want somebody, I mean, great. If you lick somebody's face, that's fine. But you don't need to put that all over social media. So yeah, great question. Yes.
The opposite side of it, what you say
Yeah. I mean,
about
sure, we haven't touched it. And we can tell, yes, and we can tell those things. And yeah, some people just are not social media people, and that's okay too. I think if anything, if you're actively looking for jobs, you should have an active LinkedIn page. That's kind of really the go-to. And you don't have to be super heavily involved in LinkedIn. I would have your profile picture, make sure it be a professional headshot, and then update your resume on that, and then you let it go. Yeah, because that's my first like kind of line of attack is I go and see a LinkedIn page. Or if a student connects with me, it instantly puts them on my just radar of pipeline. So if we have events for potential recruits, that's the first place I go. So yes, I will never turn anyone to so at least have a LinkedIn. Do you have to have Instagram and all that? No, you do not. I wouldn't fault anyone for not doing that. Because I don't let my kids have it. And so I feel like there's other people that are probably in that same boat. Yes. Do social media issues like where I see, no, I think because we've been telling people for so long to not do it. So the ones that do, you're like, oh. Yeah. So no, I wouldn't say. I think people have gotten to be more appropriate in that sense. And I mean, we're living in an age where it's somebody's got a picture somewhere, right? And you can't avoid it. Everyone has their phones at all times. Like when I was growing up, it was before social media and nobody had cameras. Like if we did, it was, you had to go, take a hefty camera with you. Nobody was carrying that around. So I do think you're at a disadvantage because anybody can catch anything doing and you can finagle, and with AI too, you can finagle a lot of stuff. So I think people are more mindful and cautious, but it still happens. Yes.
I wonder.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we have different departments have different interns and they run different times of the year. So kind of just to break it down, we usually recruit end of summer, beginning of fall semester, really before the career fair. And we'll have like an intern reception and then we do interviews as the career fair is wrapping up. We'll be interviewing and then ideally do hiring before really all that has been done. So middle of September, if you are considered for an interview, you would have that at that point with KPM and then offers would go out pretty quickly after that. So then you wouldn't start till January. So our tax interns run from January until April 15th. And they are working on 1040s. They are working on getting just the software recognition and they're doing things for clients. And then we have our accounting outsourcing, which is the bookkeeping and whatnot. And so that runs really all year round. We have some that will start in the middle of fall, some that will start in the middle of March. We have some that just started in January. It just depends on the needs of the department, but they will do their day to day will be working on clients, whatever it's payroll, bookkeeping, tax prep, year ends, quarterlies, all that stuff. So they actually get to work on client things. And then we have our audit interns. So we have governmental, nonprofit, and for-profit auditors, and they will actually go to clients and they'll work on budgets and they'll work on whatever the audit piece, a component that they can get it attested to. So those audit teams usually run about a year because we need to have more cycles than just one little tiny audit cycle. So we don't offer just summer only interns just because we can't obviously recreate a tax team kind of internship. Tax season can't be reproduced in a summertime. You can work on some extensions, but not enough to really fulfill a tax season. And then the audit team will run all year round because you can't do just a summer audit internship and really get the full thing. So hopefully that answered your question. Are you interested in the accounting outsourcing? Not to put you on the spot. Oh, cool. Okay. Well, we do nonprofit auditing, so that may be a great way to to kind of get into that. She did. Yes. Yes. So Evie was a student that we had last year. And so then she went to a Big Four for this summer, but she started in March and ended up in August. She's just a really busy person. So she got a really good experience in just a short time. That's the thing we thrive about our interns. They actually get true experience. It's not like going to get coffee and sitting and watching somebody do it. You actually get to do it. And I think people who walk away really feel like they've gotten a good experience. Yes. No. 100%. Yes. We get students from all over colleges. We get Drury, we get Evangel, we get College of the Ozarks, we get mainly Missouri State, because you guys have such a great program. You're not all created equal as far as that sense goes. And we'll pull juniors and seniors. So no, actually the less you know, the better. So that way we don't have to retrain you. So we don't expect you to know anything. You guys are getting great education. You're learning the theories and the whys behind it. We're going to tell you the hows. And so we have a very strong, like very lengthy training program. And you kind of approach it as you get it, you move on to the next thing and so forth. You're also kind of cohorted too, so you can learn off of each other. So like our tax interns and our accounting outsourcing interns are all in their own little area to where you share space so that you can share ideas, and maybe you're stuck on something and not being there 40 hours a week too. You may work on a project and then walk away. Somebody may complete that because you got to get it out to the client, but then you come back and you're like, oh wait, I didn't see how that finished. How did we finish this? And so that you can see the whole picture. Yeah, it's a great question. So no, we don't expect you to know anything. Yes, ma'am. Nope, we can do that. Yep, we have a lot of cross client collaboration, and so if it's true audits, most likely it'd be an auditor that would do it versus our accounting outsourcing staff. So it just depends on the same with tax prep. So there might be some complicated tax work that they would have to pull in someone from tax to really do that work. It's like we have a large company that would want a proposal of all the stuff that we offer. You may actually split it with tax and accounting outsourcing. So yeah, if you want to be a generalist in accounting world, that is a great field to go to. And it's actually becoming more and more popular. I've been on a few forums and hearing different companies and maybe even different educators from across the state, and they're really excited about the opportunity of having that generalist, because a lot of people just can't have that infrastructure of having an accounting department within their realm of their business. And so it's a great opportunity just to get an outside unbiased view on all the financials. Yes. Yes. Yes, that's a great question. So if you're interested, we really post about July because it really depends on the needs. So after the interns kind of end their time, whether it be tax or audit or accounting outsourcing, we kind of evaluate, just kind of see, what the team thinks, if they're going to be successful. And so we invite them to come back if they deemed everything they're supposed to do. And then if they choose not to come back, or if we decide not to renew them coming back, then it opens up the how many we need. So we usually average about 10 interns a year in all of our departments. So it's kind of a little competitive, but ideally what we like is for people to return to be a second year, even a third year, and then even go into full time. So my two auditors, I didn't look for any auditors, interns this year because they continue to stay on, but they both have signed full time. So one will start in June and one will start in January of next year. So we're not going to use an intern until we're ready for them to move on to their full time, and then we'll start the process over. So great answer. July-ish, I usually post it on our webpage, and then Handshake as well. So if you're interested and want to have more conversation, first thing I would do is try to connect with me on LinkedIn, or email me, however you want to do that. I will actually put that right there. So this webpage, kpmcpa.com, it's really easy to maneuver and navigate. I'll show you what it looks like. You look under careers, apply today. You can see I do not have any internships right now, but I do have some full-times. I told you, you don't even need to apply. Just, I'll take, yeah.
See what networking does.
Yep. So these positions that we have right now are currently for people who have graduated or working towards their CPA. We don't have to hire you full-time with a CPA, but we need to know that you're going to have the hours to obtain a CPA. So that's what we look for in the full-time position. So again, these would not be roles that you would be qualified for at this time, but it does give you an opportunity of kind of to see what they look like and what they do on a day-to-day. Yes. Yes, right. So we are a public accounting firm. So if your desire to not get a CPA, we're probably not for you. And I hate to be so, brass about that, but we're looking for the next people who are going to be our next shareholders. So we really are pushing for that CPA. And with the hours requirements kind of going down, we're hoping that will open up a bigger pipeline. But again, public accounting is not for everyone. And I'm not going to say that it is. It's long hours, different times of the year. If you're a tax accountant, you are going to be working 60, 65 hours a week, and you may have to give up a little bit of family life while that happens. However, it's not all year round. It's a moment in time. And a place like KPM, we believe families first. So let's say you have children and you're in the middle of tax season, your child gets sick, or they have a sporting event that they have to go to. That's okay too. So just because you're not chained to your desk, you just have to put in a lot of hours. So public accounting, if you're not interested in getting a CPA, that's okay, because there's a lot of accountants that don't have a CPA, and there's a lot of great opportunities that don't require a CPA. But we do, it just would, let's say you do come here and you're like, I think I want to do CPA, I want to go and be an auditor, or I want to be a tax person, and then you end up not getting your CPA, you can still work for us. It'll just limit your ability to grow, and you'll probably stop at senior. So we have staff than senior. So it's really only giving you a leg up a little bit. And we have some that do that. I have about 16 people, minus interns, that don't have a CPA license, and they're working on it, and we support them, but some just are not getting it, and it's okay. Yep. Having a CPA is going to keep you protected in a way that you're ethically required to meet the requirements. You've got professional development that you're meeting requirements. There's things that you can do that a non-CPA can do. But as far as the private entity goes, no, it may limit you. You may not be a controller or a CFO, but it's not necessarily you have to have that. It just depends on the company and yeah. So your best bet is to kind of do some digging and, where you're going and then what you're looking for. Yeah, it's a great question. Oh, sorry. Yes. So we do a bonus structure within 2 years of the first day of full-time employment. And then after that, it drops down like half. So it's still out there, and then we do CPA prep groups, and we provide support for CPAs. We pay for the CPA exam in a reimbursement structure. And then we also, once you're full-time, and then we also do reimbursements for any materials that you've used. It gets a little tricky. It's all kind of mumbo jumbo at this point, but it is, again, very supported, because we are looking for the people who can sign those tax returns and who can be that client facing person and get new clients. And if we don't have CPAs that are going to fulfill those roles, we won't exist in 20 years. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Because again, we will have people that realize quickly, and that's okay. That's the point of an internship. It's not for everybody. It's hard work, and it's getting a CPA license is one of the hardest professional licenses you can obtain. And then you still have to keep it going. So it's not an end all. You don't do it once and then never think about it again. You got to keep up with your 40 hours of CPE a year. And we at KPM pay for all that. So there are firms that don't actually pay for your CPE. We do, whether it be in podcast or going to conferences or meetings. We're connected with Prime Global, which is an alliance. So they have a lot of CPE opportunities. We have 100% participation with most CPA, and they offer CPE opportunities, but there is firms that don't actually support that. So just be mindful. But yeah, it definitely helps that you want to have that. Great questions. Yes. Yes, I do. Okay. So great question. Do we have any advice for interviews? Yes. So research the company. We'll get people that think, we're the name KPM, but there's also KPMG. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. They're big four. Some people actually think we're KPMG. And so if you're walking around in a career fair and you say that, no big deal. I get that all the time. But if you're coming in for an interview and you don't realize that we're not KPMG, then I feel like you've not done your research. So do research, know what you're looking for, and kind of have an idea of what you want to do, whether it be tax, audit, accounting, outsourcing. Doesn't mean that's your end all. It just means that you kind of can have those conversations of like figuring out, this is what I want to do. And then obviously kind of dress the parts. Don't come in sloppy. Make sure, you're not wrinkly. There's no pet hair. If you have one suit and you wear it to all the interviews, nobody talks about that. It's okay. You don't have to go out and spend a fortune for your professional clothing. Even when you get into the real world, we actually have a dress for your day policy at KPM. So we wear jeans. This is actually the most dressed up I've been 2 days in a row. I usually wear jeans and a nice top and nice shoes. And that's what we see all in the office. But so you're not wearing suit and ties. So you don't have to wear suit and tie for our interviews. But yeah, just kind of make sure you know what you're doing, and then make sure your resume matches your qualifications. Like anybody can put anything they want on a resume, right? But make sure you can kind of fulfill what you're saying. If you said that you've done tax work at another firm, make sure you can back that up. But believe it or not, people lie a lot. So yeah. And then always ask for business cards or the names of people after. Make sure you pay attention when you're interviewing, and always, always, always follow up with a thank you. Well written, just like I taught you. That is great. Or even on LinkedIn, anything that you can just connect, even a handwritten, even though it takes a few days to get to us, that goes a long way. And people do not do that. So if you could take one piece of advice, remember, thank you. That's all I ask. Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Utilize your resources. You have career services on the second floor. They are wonderful. If you haven't utilized them, take advantage of them. You have great resources within your department. You also have great resources sitting right down there at College of the Business that will offer mock interviews. They will offer resume cafes. So take what they say, take it back through Resume Cafe, and then you should have a really polished resume. Take advantage of interviews on campus. Even if you're not that interested, it doesn't hurt to interview. Okay, everyone's nervous. We're nervous too. So it's okay if you're nervous. Just be very careful about holding those emotions back and just kind of have fun with it. You don't have to be so rigid. Just kind of relax and just kind of, you're interviewing us too when you interview. So take advantage of those resources to get comfortable. Yes. Oh, that's a great question. I've seen it as early as a year, sometimes a couple years. But a year is probably the quickest I've seen. And it just depends on what level. So staff to senior, you can get there in about a year, but like senior to manager might take you a few years, because you can be a supervisor, or then we have like, kind of terminal ways. We have a shareholder path and we have a principal path. So it just depends on what path you want to go to. But the quickest way to get promoted is getting your CPA license. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I tell everyone, if you have a desire to go to a big four, now is the time to do it. Because it's going to be harder for you to go from a mid-size to a big four than it would be straight out of college. And they're in your, realm right now. So they're probably coming in, they're heavily recruiting you. They love their colleges and universities. And then it's a lot of work. So then if you realize after a few years, I've worked 80 hours a week, and yes, that is very true that they are working 80, 85 hours a week. Then that's when they're like, okay, wait a minute. I think I want to find a firm that maybe I don't have to do that. It's a lot easier to go from a big four to a mid-size than vice versa. So if you have a desire to go for big four, I say go for it, but do it now. Excellent questions. Wow, you didn't even have to prompt them. Yeah. I thought he was feeding them questions through their earbuds. Awesome. Well,
Perfect.
okay. You guys were great. Thank you so much. I felt very stationary. So I'm normally like a pacer and walk around. Oh, we have another question. Ah. I have business cards, and you can really just look at me. You pull my name up, you'll find me, because I'm attached to a lot of people in this world here at Missouri State. So it shouldn't be too hard to find me. So if you do a search, you shouldn't have any problems, but I do have business cards. So please take one. I don't know if my LinkedIn is on here. No, it's not. Our KPM CPA's LinkedIn page is on there, but not my personal one. So yeah, just search for me. I never tell you no.
Well, thank you,
All right.
Vicki.
Thank you
Appreciate
guys
it.
so much.